Dude, have you ever started a game casually, thinking it would be just a couple of hours, and when you realize it, it's already dawn? You look out the window, see the sun coming up, and understand that there's no point in going to sleep anymore because work or class is just a few hours away. If you've been through that, let me know which game completely sucked up your time. As for me, I've put together a special list of games that do exactly that. True time thieves. Let's check it out. No Man's Sky. I remember playing this at launch and, well, we don't talk about that. But No Man's Sky in 2026? It's a complete life stealer. The sensation of hopping into your starship, breaking the atmosphere, and seeing a literal infinite universe is something I never get tired of. It's the ultimate just one more planet loop. I once spent an entire Saturday just cataloging weird glowing mushrooms on a radioactive moon because the vibes were just too good. The gameplay is all about that zen-like flow of exploration and building. You aren't just a pilot, you're an architect of the stars. I've spent dozens of hours just perfecting the base building on a paradise planet I found by total accident. That's when I realized something was different. I wasn't playing for a trophy anymore. I was playing because I genuinely wanted to see what was behind the next star system. My only gripe? Sometimes the inventory management feels like a part-time job, but once you upgrade your suit, it's smooth sailing. The impactful emotion hits you when you find a message left by another player years ago on a distant rock. It makes this massive universe feel oddly personal. If you love the idea of getting lost in the cosmos, this game will eat your calendar for breakfast. Number 2, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Man, if I could live in any game world, it might be this one. Black Flag isn't just an assassin game, it's the best pirate simulator ever made. The sensation of the jackdaw hitting a massive wave while the crew starts singing a sea shanty, dude, it gives me goosebumps every single time. I've spent literal hours just sailing the Caribbean, hunting legendary ships, and completely ignoring the main story. You play as Edward Kenway, and he's easily my favorite protagonist in the series because he's a bit of a jerk at first. He just wants gold, and that honesty is refreshing. The impactful emotion comes later when he realizes that being a pirate has a heavy price. The naval combat is still the gold standard. There's this memory I have of taking down 2 man-of-wars in a massive storm that I'll never forget. The modern day sections still pull me out of the immersion a bit, but once you're back on that deck, it's pure bliss. This is where the game changed for me, when I realized I was more attached to my ship than any character. Upgrading the Jackdaw is an addiction. It's a masterpiece of atmosphere, and before you know it, you've been at sea for 6 hours straight. Number 3. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. If you're tired of being a chosen one with superpowers, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is your reality check. The sensation of being Henry, a guy who starts off barely knowing how to hold a sword, is so grounded and authentic. You actually have to learn how to fight, how to read, and even how to wash yourself so people don't think you're a peasant. It's a literal medieval life simulator. The gameplay is crunchy and deliberate. Every duel feels like a life or death struggle. I remember the first time I successfully parried a blow and landed a counterstrike. It felt more rewarding than any boss fight in an action game. I didn't expect this moment, but I found myself getting genuinely stressed about Henry's hunger and fatigue, which just pulled me deeper into the world of 15th century Bohemia. It can be janky, and the save system can be a bit of a pain, but that's part of the charm. The impactful emotion of seeing Henry grow from a clumsy blacksmith's son into a respected man-at-arms is a slow-burn masterpiece. That's when I realized something was different. I wasn't just playing an RPG, I was living a historical epic. It's a massive time thief because it demands your full attention to every little detail. (4) Ghost of Tsushima. I'm just gonna say it. This is the most beautiful game ever made. The sensation of riding your horse through a field of white pampas grass while the guiding wind shows you the way is pure poetry. You play as Jin Sakai, and watching him struggle between his samurai honor and the dishonorable tactics of the ghost is a tragic, beautiful arc. The impactful emotion of that struggle really hits home during the final chapters. The gameplay is razor sharp. Switching stances to counter different enemies feels like a dance. But my favorite thing is the minimalist HUD. The game trusts you to look at the world, not just a minimap. That's when I realized something was different. I stopped fast traveling. I just wanted to soak in every sunset and write haikus by the waterfalls. The side quests can be a little repetitive sometimes, if I have to follow one more fox. But the world is so thick with atmosphere that you won't even care. The memory of the duel at the end of the game is something that stays in your head for years. It's a 10 out of 10 experience that respects your time by being absolutely gorgeous every second you're playing. Number 5, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I've lost hundreds of hours to Geralt of Rivia, and honestly, I'd do it all again in a heartbeat. The sensation of the wind howling through the trees in Velen while a lelele track starts to play in the background, man, it gives me goosebumps every single time. This world feels gray and dirty, but in a way that's incredibly human. You aren't just checking off boxes, you're navigating a land where every side quest has better writing than most full games. The impactful emotion hits you in the quiet moments, like sitting on a mountaintop in Skellige or dealing with the tragic story of the Bloody Baron. That's when I realized something was different. When I realized I wasn't playing for the XP anymore, I was playing because I genuinely cared about Ciri and Yennefer. And let's be real, I've probably spent 40 hours just playing Gwent in taverns across the world. My only gripe, the combat can feel a bit floaty compared to more modern titles, but the storytelling is the gold standard. The memory of the final battle at Kaer Morhen is something that stays with you forever. It's a masterclass in world building that will steal your soul, and you'll thank it for it. Six, Far Cry 5. There is something strangely addictive about Montana in Far Cry 5. The sensation of the big sky country is gorgeous, but there's this constant underlying dread from the Eden's Gate cult that keeps you on edge. I love the freedom here. One minute I'm fishing for trout in a quiet stream, and the next I'm calling in a bear named Cheeseburger to help me take over a gas station. The gameplay is that classic Ubisoft chaos sandbox, but it feels much more personal this time. The villain, Joseph Seed, is creepy because he's so calm. He's one of those guys you almost want to listen to. This is where the game changed for me, when I stopped using the roads and just started trekking through the woods, discovering these tiny environmental stories that make the world feel alive. The ending is, well, it's controversial, but it definitely sticks in your brain. I didn't expect this moment, but I found myself getting genuinely attached to my guns for hire crew. It's a high-octane, beautiful, and sometimes disturbing trip that makes 5 hours feel like 15 minutes. Seven, Skyrim Special Edition. We've all played it, we've all bought it 5 times, and yet we always go back. Skyrim is the ultimate life simulator in a fantasy setting. The sensation of stepping out of that cave in Helgen and realizing you can literally walk in any direction is the peak of the open world genre. You aren't just the Dragonborn, you're a thief, a mage, or a guy who just likes to collect cheese wheels. The gameplay is all about discovery. I've had playthroughs where I didn't even touch the main quest for 50 hours because I got distracted by the Dark Brotherhood or just exploring Dwemer ruins. That's when I realized something was different. When I realized I knew the layout of Whiterun better than my own neighborhood. The memory of my first dragon fight at the Western Watchtower is a core gaming memory for me. Sure, it's buggy and the combat is a bit like swinging a pool noodle, but the atmosphere of a blizzard in the Reach is unmatched. It's a 10 out of 10 time thief because it treats your curiosity with total respect. You don't just play Skyrim, you move into it. 8. Elden Ring. What can I even say about Elden Ring that hasn't been said? It's a miracle of game design. From Software took the Souls formula and dropped it into a world that actually rewards your curiosity instead of just punishing your mistakes. The sensation of crossing the bridge into Limgrave for the first time is pure awe. There are no map icons screaming at you. You just see a massive golden tree and you go. The gameplay is the gold standard of tough but fair. Every boss is a massive event. This is where the game changed for me, when I realized that losing wasn't failing, it was learning. The impactful emotion of finally taking down a boss like Melania after 50 tries is a high that other games just can't provide. The memory of finding Siofra River, an entire galaxy hidden underground, is a jaw-on-the-floor moment. It's hard, yes, it will kick your teeth in, but the freedom to just leave a hard area, get stronger, and come back makes it so addictive. It's a hauntingly beautiful, punishing, and profoundly rewarding masterpiece. If you start this at 9 p.m., I promise you won't see 10 p.m. until the next day. 9. Subnautica. I'm just gonna be real with you. Subnautica is a horror game disguised as a diving adventure. The sensation of being stranded on an alien ocean planet is breathtaking at first, but once you start diving deep into the dead zone and hear a distant roar, man, your heart just drops. You start out just trying to find some titanium, and before you know it, you're building a massive underwater base and a submarine to go find out what's at the bottom of the world. The gameplay loop is incredibly addictive. You're always one resource away from that next upgrade. This is where the game changed for me, when I realized I wasn't just surviving, I was becoming a part of this alien ecosystem. The impactful emotion comes from the loneliness of being the only human left, surrounded by beauty and terror in equal measure. The memory of seeing my first Reaper Leviathan is etched into my brain forever. I think I actually dropped my controller. It's a masterpiece of atmosphere, and it steals your time because you're constantly saying, I'll just explore one more wreckage, and suddenly you've been underwater for 6 hours. 10. Hitman World of Assassination. This isn't just a game, it's a giant, morbid puzzle box. Hitman World of Assassination gives you the most creative sensation of being a professional. You play as Agent 47 and the freedom is just insane. You can finish a mission by being a silent assassin, or you can dress up as a giant flamingo and hit someone with a fish. The game never says no to your weird ideas. The gameplay is all about patience and observation. I've spent 40 minutes just watching a target's routine in Paris or Sapienza, waiting for that perfect accident to happen. That's when I realized something was different. I wasn't playing an action game. I was playing a social stealth simulator. The impactful emotion comes from that tension when you're walking past guards in a disguise that's just about to be blown. The replayability is through the roof. I've played the same levels 50 times and still find new ways to take people out. It's a massive time thief because it rewards your creativity and your curiosity. Every mission is a memory of a plan coming together, or falling apart spectacularly. Number 11. Stardew Valley. How does a game about farming become a 200-hour addiction? I still don't fully understand it, but Stardew Valley is a masterpiece of just one more day. The sensation of cleaning up your grandpa's old overgrown farm and turning it into a thriving business is incredibly rewarding. It starts with parsnips, and it ends with you running a massive empire of artisanal wine and ancient fruit. The gameplay is simple but deep. You're managing your energy, the seasons, and your relationships with the townspeople. I didn't expect this moment, but I found myself getting genuinely invested in the lives of the NPCs, like helping Shane deal with his struggles or trying to win over Abigail. The impactful emotion of the flower dance or the winter festival makes the town feel like a real community. It's the ultimate cozy time thief. You sit down to play for 15 minutes, and then you realize you've played an entire in-game year. The memory of finally reaching the bottom of the mines or catching that legendary fish is a high that keeps you coming back. It's pure, wholesome, and dangerously addictive. 12. Hogwarts Legacy. Even if you aren't a hardcore Potterhead, Hogwarts Legacy is a dream come true for anyone who loves magic. The sensation of walking through the Great Hall for the first time or flying a broom over the Scottish Highlands is just magical. The attention to detail in the castle itself is borderline obsessive. I spent hours just walking around looking at the moving portraits and the architecture. The gameplay combat is surprisingly snappy. Juggling enemies with Levioso and then hitting them with a Confringo feels great. That's when I realized something was different. When I realized I was spending more time exploring the Forbidden Forest and the tiny hamlets than actually doing my homework. The impactful emotion hits you when you finally get your own room of requirement and realize you can customize your own little magical sanctuary. The facial animations can be a bit stiff sometimes, but the world building is top tier. The memory of your first flight on a hippogriff is a highlight of the generation. It's a massive, charming, and incredibly polished world that will steal your life because it's just so much fun to be a wizard. 13. Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm gonna be honest, Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't just a game to me, it's a place I go to escape. The sensation of the world is so heavy and deliberate. The way the mud sticks to your boots, the way the snow crunches under your horse's hooves, or the silence of a foggy morning in the bayou. It forces you to slow down. You aren't just playing as Arthur Morgan, you're living his life, from brewing coffee at a campfire to maintaining your revolvers. The gameplay is physical and weighted. Every gunfight feels like a desperate life or death struggle. But the real time thief element is the world itself. That's when I realized something was different. When I spent 3 hours just hunting a legendary elk and realized I hadn't even looked at the map once. The impactful emotion of Arthur's journey, his loyalty to Dutch, and his search for some kind of peace is probably the best story ever told in a game. It's a slow burn, and some people find the animations a bit too long, but for me, that's the magic. The memory of the gang singing around the fire at Horseshoe Overlook is something I'll carry forever. It's a masterpiece of craftsmanship that justifies every single second of the hundreds of hours you'll put into it. 14. Monster Hunter World. If you have an obsessive personality, Monster Hunter World is a dangerous game to own. The sensation of the hunt is incredible. You aren't just fighting bosses, you're learning an ecosystem. I remember the first time I saw an Anjanath get into a turf war with a Rathalos. I just hid in the bushes and watched, jaw dropped. You feel like a small part of a massive, living world. The gameplay is all about that just one more hunt loop. You need a specific plate to craft that new armor, so you go out again. Then you realize you need a different elemental weapon, so you hunt something else. This is where the game changed for me, when I finally mastered the Charge Blade. It's a complex weapon, but once it clicked, I felt like a god. The combat is deep, tactical, and incredibly satisfying. It can be overwhelming at first with all the menus and systems, but once you get the hang of it, the hours just melt away. The impactful emotion comes from that shared victory when you and 3 friends finally take down a massive elder dragon after a 30-minute battle. It's a memory of teamwork and triumph that is hard to find anywhere else. 15. GTA 5. It feels like we've been playing GTA 5 for our entire lives, and there's a reason for that. It's the ultimate digital playground. Even years later, the sensation of driving through Los Santos as the sun sets over the Vinewood sign is iconic. Having 3 protagonists, Michael, Franklin, and Trevor, was a stroke of genius. Switching between them mid-mission creates this cinematic flow that still feels fresh. The gameplay is the definition of freedom. You can go from a high-stakes jewelry store heist to playing a round of golf or just causing absolute chaos on the freeway. I didn't expect this moment, but I found myself getting genuinely invested in the weird, toxic friendship between these 3 broken men. The impactful emotion hits you at the end when you have to make a choice that defines their future. And then there's GTA Online, which is a whole other black hole. Whether you're running a nightclub or planning a heist with friends, the to-do list never ends. The memory of your first successful heist payout is a classic gamer moment. It's a massive, satirical, and endlessly entertaining world that has earned every single hour we've given it. And that is the list, guys. 15 perfect games that will absolutely steal your time and leave you wanting more. These are the worlds that make us forget to eat, forget to sleep, and remind us why we love this hobby so much. But now, I want to hear from you. Which of these games is your ultimate time thief? Is there one that I missed that you've put 500 hours into? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. I'm always looking for a new world to get lost in.